So before I start, I would like to listen from you, ma'am. Are you able to hear us?
I express my immense pleasure to Dr. Raja Jain and all of you for invitation in International Conference on Innovation in Multidisciplinary Areas in the field of commerce, management, science, engineering, medical education, information technology, humanities, law, and agriculture. My name is Arusya Kibanyan. I represent Armenia. I'm an English lecturer, currently head of international relations at Northern University of Armenia. It has been already 6 years. I am doing research in the field of linguistics, specifically business English, which is combination of English and business. I took part in a lot of conferences and understood that multidisciplinary approach gives me more opportunities to comprehend my topic deeper. So far, these type of conferences are benefiting to extend the understanding of multidisciplinary research. As I am given 5 minutes to speak, I will briefly introduce my perception about multidisciplinary research. Multidisciplinary research brings disciplines and researchers together to talk about issues from each of their own perspective. The people involved collaborate but maintain a separation of their disciplines in the process. When the project is over, the people return and may start other projects depending on the success of the previous one. When experts from different fields and countries work together within the boundaries of their own discipline, they are set to adopt a multidisciplinary approach. A transdisciplinary team is an interdisciplinary team whose members have developed sufficient trust and mutual confidence to transcend disciplinary boundaries and adopt a more holistic approach. Multi and interdisciplinary research are often used interchangeably, but originally they referred to different approaches. When experts from different fields work together on a common subject within the boundaries of their own discipline, they are set to adopt a multidisciplinary approach. However, if they stick to these boundaries, they may reach a point where the project cannot progress any further. They will then have to bring themselves to the fringes of their own fields to form new concepts and ideas and create a whole new interdisciplinary field. A transdisciplinary team is an interdisciplinary team whose members have developed sufficient trust and mutual confidence to transcend disciplinary boundaries and adopt a more holistic approach. This involves drawing appropriately from several disciplines to enable scholars redefine problems outside normal boundaries and arrive at solutions based on a new understanding of complex situations. This is the current trend widely advocated by experts in different disciplines. Multidisciplinary research has a lot of benefits, but we would like to mention some of them. A team of researchers will more effectively solve a problem than if they worked independently. It makes researchers to think outside the box, which may be important in solving a problem or questions. Most problems are multifaceted and require a range of expertise to properly investigate and potentially solve the problems. Of course, multidisciplinary research needs to encourage knowledge sharing among researchers and to appropriately address the needs of organizations that sponsor such research. In conclusion, in today's world, human beings are grappling with a wide range of problems and possibilities which result from increasing complexity. To solve the complex problems and release the possibilities of technological advances requires coordinated collaborative scientific endeavors that cut across multiple disciplines. Multidisciplinary research therefore holds great promise for yielding greater scientific advances in understanding and improving human performance. It should be the way for scientific productions in our higher institutions of learning. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you so much, madam. Yes, indeed, innovation plays a great role for perception careers of student and as well as faculty. After madam, I would like to request Dr. Inga Kharcheva from Georgia. Dr. Inga Kharchilava from Georgia.
Namaste, India. Can you hear me?
Namaste from India as well, ma'am.
Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Please
thank you.
continue.
My presentation is visible?
Yes, it is visible, madam.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Warm greetings from Georgia. I'm Inga Kharchilava. I'm very happy today. Thank you very much for this invitation. It is really a great honor for me. Many thanks to organizers team. Congratulate. This is a really amazing conference. Congratulate all the speakers and of course greetings to the guests. Today is an important day. I see an important international conference. Wow, thank you. Okay, today I will talk about one of the important issue, inclusive education. Inclusion is an English word and means involvement in Georgia. Inclusive education involves the inclusion of a student with special educational needs in the general education process with peers. The right to education of students with special education needs is mentioned in various international documents, as well as in the law of Georgia on general education. Problems related to inclusive education are often the subject of discussion both in the population and in the academic field. Such urgency of the issue pushes us to properly analyze the challenges that inclusive education faces today. Also, think about the prospects for such education in the modern, rapidly changing world. Research has shown that inclusive education is generally perceived as a positive, but a small proportion of parents of students with special education needs think that the learning environment as a whole provides a favorable environment for their children. Unlike the parents of healthy students, a fairly high percentage of them think so. My dear colleagues, all children have the right to receive an education. Therefore, they should be given the opportunity to attain a certain level of education. Every child has unique personality traits, interests, and skills, of course. Accordingly, the education system should arrange it in such a way that education programs take into account this slight difference between individuals. You know, people with special education needs have to right to attend public schools where pedagogy is focused on the students and takes into account his or her needs. It is well known in the psychological sciences that every human being is born with certain genetic data. A lot the social international plays a big role in human development along with innate predisposition. Okay. The goal of inclusive education is to create the environment where children can realize their full potential. Inclusive education has become one of the priority areas. Step by step, not only the approach are changing, but also the attitude of the society towards people with disabilities. I repeat again, my dear friends, once and for all that every child has the right to education. It is written, in the constitution of my country, Georgia, as well as in the Declaration of the Rights of the Children. Okay, science 2006 inclusive education has been introduced to preschool, and science 2030 inclusive education has been introduced also at the level of vocational education. This is very important. The effective steps taken by the state over the years have been successfully realized in practice. For a country like Georgia, where people with disabilities were hidden and did not have the right to speak in a public, the current situation is favorable, but not specific. It's very important. Okay, as for the general condition of public schools, inclusive education is provided in all schools today if there is a need for it. Today, the students is related between them at the beginning of this process. Interdisciplinary towards students with special education needs. Special teachers, also tutor, technology, also a social worker, and so on. Okay, the attitude of the society is gradually changing. But even today, you can hear, yes, from the teacher. I have an inclusive children. I teach a disability. I have a chorus of children in the class. Oh my God! Of course, it's not good words. The attitudes of teachers and parents towards people with disabilities determine the attitude of children towards the peers who have any limitation. There is still a lot of work to be done and effort to be done on this issue. Human resources, in particular, there is a present number of psychologists are also a problem. And one of the fundamental challenges concerns the competence of teachers. Although trainings have been actively conducted also in the last few years to improve the skills of teachers to rise their qualification and to work as teachers. Only certified good teachers have the need to do so. We cannot say that the overall level of teachers is satisfactory. Okay, my dear colleagues, as for the future perspective of inclusive education, it is necessary to know that its development is not hindered and stopped in one place. Proper work on all of the challenges is essential for the successful implementation of inclusive education in crisis. It is necessary for the monitoring and the evaluation system to function properly, to improve the legal framework, to adapt to the health environment. All this will be only this joint work of ministries, parents, teachers, students, on the also psychological, and social. Okay, this is the modern world where the supreme values is equality, tolerance, and respect for the uniqueness of each person. The model of inclusive education is of great as it is based on moral and ethical principles applicable to a democratic society, which enables all people to feel like a full-fledged person and to live an active life. Yes, my dear friends, my dear colleagues, thank you very much for listening to me. This topic is very important for me. And as a teacher, I have a great responsibility. I work in two schools as well as also a college, and it is probably advised how many students I interact with on a daily basis. I want to be a source of motivation for every student and their friends. I want to light the way for a bright future. Thank you so much, all, especially to all of you. More greetings from Georgia again.
Thank you so much, Kachanova ma'am. Those who are born with special challenges, they are also have a right to be in mainstream. That is why in India we call them not as a disabled child, but we call them a special child. Thank you so much having you, madam.
Thank you so much.
So after that, we will be requesting Rania Lampu madam from Greece. Education and Religious Affairs, Greek Astronomy and Space Company. So this college, SUKM, is situated in the center of India, along with Research Foundation of India. We both welcome you, madam. Over to you.
Greetings from Greece. Very, very honored to be invited to this great conference. I would like to congratulate all organizers, especially Research Foundation of India and Dr. Ajay Jain for the kind invitation. Today, we will explore the concept of sustainability, environmental education, education for sustainable development and awareness, and how all this can be combined with STEM education, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, in order to serve the goal of global citizenship. So may I share my presentation? Is it visible now?
Yes, there is.
Okay. So the 2030 agenda considers education as a key strategy. Key strategy to accomplish important environmental goals. Education must answer the environmental issues, defining new relevant objectives and contents, new global frameworks and specific teaching programs to empower people and students. So from this point of view, educational institutions have to establish new programs to create an essential context to integrate sustainable development goals. So when we talk about sustainable development education contributes to developing competencies in sustainability among students, such as critical and creative thinking, problem-solving strategies, capacity to act, collaboration, systemic thinking. So these students, of course, will be potential change actors with the ability to shape a more sustainable society. So sustainability is actually ensures that future generations have the same amount of well-being. Sustainable development is a development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. When we talk about sustainability, we have four pillars. The term sustainability is broadly used to indicate programs, initiatives, and actions aimed at the preservation of a particular resource. So we have human sustainability, which encompasses the development of skills and human capacity to support the functions and sustainability of organization to promote the well-being of communities and society, economic sustainability, aimed to maintain the capital intact, and social sustainability, which incorporates the idea of sustainable development as this is defined by United Nations. And this addresses social and economic improvement that protects the environment and supports equality, and therefore the economy and society, the ecological system are mutually interdependent. And environmental, of course, sustainability, which places emphasis on how business can achieve positive economic outcomes without doing any harm in the short or long term to the environment. So why STEM is important within this framework? STEM education plays a crucial role in overcoming the challenges posed in achieving sustainable development goals. Achieving these goals necessitates a shift in STEM education, away from a focus on purely academic technical knowledge towards a more broader interdisciplinary approach and complex problem-solving approach that combines societal and sustainable problem analysis with academic knowledge and solutions. So STEM, of course, the project focuses on inquiry, student-led investigations through open-ended real-life problems and hands-on activities, and reflects the 21st century skills. Characteristics of STEM students are problem solvers, they are innovators and inventors, they're logical thinkers, they're technologically literate. And STEM is related to lifelong learning. It's something that should be involved, should be included in everyday experiences of students. New technologies should define the content and practices of STEM. Broader social-cultural and political factors should be considered, and students should deal responsibly with technology. So STEM education is something that needs to be taken into consideration while government steering STEM education will require educational leadership and challenge. Curriculum change should be approached in a systematic way. And this could include promotion faculty development. For instance, how is the engineering sector changing? Engineering is a problem-solving profession. It requires a problem-based approach to learning. From early school education and throughout the educational system, science subjects will benefit from a more inquiry-based approach combined with design thinking and interdisciplinary collaboration with other school subjects. So, for instance, engineering students need to learn how to analyze and solve problems facing by society, and to develop technologies will improve sustainable living. That's why sustainable technologies are the need in the hour all around the world. So these needs are enforced by major trends like emerging sustainable technologies and the employability agenda, as well as diversity issues such as gender balance. So according to UNESCO, advances in STEM have already brought about improvements in many aspects of life, such as health, agriculture, and infrastructure. And according to World Economic Forum, this is important for the future preparedness of the countries. So what should be our recommendations? First of all, we need to improve and strengthen STEM education in school. For all educational establishments, from schools and universities, departments, and all professional training bodies, there is the need to integrate the topic of sustainability in the curriculum in order to ensure that all learners acquire the knowledge and skills needed to promote sustainable development. Secondly, interdisciplinary sustainable development and employability in STEM curricula, because governments should increase the focus on interdisciplinary curricula, sustainable development of professional competencies, combining them with funding models that support these needs. And national accreditation criteria should also be formulated, accompanied by incentives and rewards for institutions meeting these requirements. Investment in STEM studies is important. Government should promote and support STEM education students to develop pedagogy, teaching and learning at a systemic level, and also should reward institutions developing new systemic learning models. Educational leadership for educational change, because creating this recognition system that supports, nurtures and recognizes educational impact, it's very important for STEM education. Here in Greece, for the first time this year, our ministry has integrated a new cognitive discipline, which is called Skills Labs. And for the first time, we have this thematic session of STEM and robotics. It is integrated in the curriculum in primary secondary education. It's a great step for Greece. Of course, there is a problem of lack of funding because we need technological equipment when it comes to robotics, for instance. And of course, teachers lack of training, so we need also appropriate training. And the rise of sustainability science, this show actually 4 trends are important for sustainability science and engineering. Intercross and transdisciplinary knowledge is breaking down conventional boundaries to create a more holistic approach. Entrepreneurship, which actually takes the form of techno-entrepreneurship, and the notion of diversity, which now is expanding and means inclusivity for all, including not only traditionally disadvantaged groups, such as those characterized by gender or socioeconomic background, but also personal characteristics such as physical condition and ethnic and cultural identities. Human ecological well-being also are 2 sides of the same coin because STEM is adopting a more now sensitive and more holistic approach, a more cautious approach to human-made changes. So we need to strengthen all types of cooperation for STEM capacity building in alignment with sustainable development. We need to expand and innovate STEM education globally, particularly in developing countries, and promote sustainability competencies for STEM graduates through lifelong learning and training. We need to establish diversity STEM systems and encourage young people, especially women and girls. We are still women in STEM. Women are underrepresented in this field to pursue careers in STEM. Develop sustainable professional organizations to support and maximize STEM potential, and encourage entrepreneurship by simplifying the business startup process. So, why? Because we need to further increase the collaboration between industries and schools and universities. For instance, when we talk about STEM, we can organize in schools hackathons and invite students to create original projects or devices, some patents, and then collaborate and move forward with industries. And how this is related to education for sustainable development, sustainability and STEM. Education for sustainable development should develop individual values, knowledge and skills and competencies for sustainable living and participation society. And of course, promotes active learning, citizenship, student leadership. It empowers youth to share their voice and make a difference, promotes a sense of place and connection to community. And it's very important because it's characterized by contextual and locally relevant learning. That means that this should be interdisciplinary, holistic, and value-driven. We take our students, so we are implementing crossover activities in the nature, for instance. Students can learn better this way, can adopt healthier lifestyles. They can learn how to love environment. So students can be involved in a local or a habitat, the forest or a park, in an effort to develop an awareness and concern for the environment. And this environmental education aims for a democratic, inclusive society in which effective, environmentally literate community members possess a sense of empowerment. So we need environmental education framework, which could promote progress towards sustaining a healthy environment, quality of life. Environmental literacy depends on learners' ability to ask questions, to speculate, to hypothesize about the world, to seek information. So we need to be familiar with inquiry-based learning, master fundamental skills, synthesize information. All this set of skills, questioning, analysis, interpretation skills, collecting information, working with models and simulations. This is important that students develop an understanding of how changes in one system results in changes in another. How they can investigate environmental issues. Students can consider evidence differing viewpoints. They can analyze the consequences of their actions and actions taken by other individuals. Another set of skills, how to analyze, investigate environmental issues, how to work with flexibility, creativity, and openness, how to develop decision-making and action skills, so how to plan and take action and evaluate the results of actions. How to develop personal and civic responsibility, recognizing rights and responsibilities, recognizing efficacy, developing agency, accepting personal responsibility. And here some best practices of some institutions who combine STEM with environmental education. In El Paso community, there are students who actually measure temperature changes in ambient air compared to carbon dioxide to understand the greenhouse effect and the foundation of climate change. They use scientific databases about cities with higher pollution levels to examine the relation between income, education, and health. Other students explore causes of thermal inversions and use data sources to find the major pollution sources. Another program in California, students develop water solutions measuring the safety of drinking water, and they apply intelligent planting techniques to conserve water in parched areas and testing water and soil samples to help protect the local watershed. So this challenge students initiate, develop, and implement a project which actually helps to develop the core understanding of environmental principles. Many interesting here in the USA, students chose to tackle plastic water bottle use at their school. Here in Greece, with my students during the COVID pandemic, we implemented this project, which actually is called the Contribution of Technology to the Protection of Health, and it aims, it concerns the quality of life of residents of large cities where the most type of living is living in apartments. On this project, students examined the nuisance factors of an apartment, and more specifically noise pollution and the harmful factors of the gaseous environment of the apartments, such as carbon monoxide, smoke, and dust. They created a miniaturized model of an apartment, sound detectors, sensors, as well as carbon monoxide detectors, sensors were installed. So the STEM technology used was an rhythm controller, a connection board, resistors, LEDs, and others. So the goal of this project is to improve the quality of life of people living in modern homes. So students suggested solutions, because in STEM, we don't give solution to students. Students should find a solution. We only give them the problem. Here in Greece, I'm working with the Greek Ministry of Education, the Directorate of Education, Technology and Innovation. Have launched recently a new STEM environmental project, which combines environmental awareness with STEM and arts. It's addressed to primary school students. Why primary school students? Because students need to be inculcated at this age the values of compassion, the values of service learning, of volunteerism, and how to love and protect the environment. This is based on Sustainable Development Goals and helping students to learn about the climate zones of the Earth, about the factors that influence climate in Greece and also in other parts of the world, and to give suggestions. Students have the opportunity to experiment, create, and collaborate to solve ethic problems, express themselves artistically using experiential, exploratory, discovery learning methods, collaborative approach, and of course using the digital tools. They can develop the critical thinking, environmental issues, and they can comprehend the solutions can also come from non-environmentalists to try and think of ways to protect the climate, to realize that we all have a responsibility to protect our planet. And some of the activities that have integrated in my project, there are some experiments to simulate weather phenomena that occur in Greece and other places, how to measure temperature, pressure, humidity, and other weather parameters, how to build a mini meteorological station, and other activities. Why this? Because through this project, students are encouraged to deal systematically with scientific environmental issues from an early age. Therefore, they have the opportunity to enhance their social sensitivity, their ecological consciousness, and their environmental responsibility. Apart from this, I'm the founder of many international humanitarian STEM projects implemented in Africa and Asia, and they're related to sustainable living. This was implemented in Malawi, in Africa, mostly, and it concerns water, how to teach about water awareness to students who are thirsty, how to teach about water awareness to students who don't have school supply at all. In this project, I have integrated some activities using only natural resources. So students performed amazing activities. They performed water experiments. They created mind maps using branches of trees. They created models of boats using wood and every material that they had at their disposal. And the impact was great because we managed to obtain sanitation filter and equipment, and 6 wells were drilled in areas of Malawi where children had to walk away, as I said before, 90 minutes to find clean water to drink. Another project is called Food for Thought. It was implemented in India, and it actually concerns healthy food combination in case of food shortage. It had a great impact because it inspired Indian teachers who visited slums, the students, and educated their families and donated their money. Another project also about gender-based violence, etc. All these projects have received so far over 200 awards. Of course, this project aimed to promote positive peace. They can't stop war, but they can improve the quality of life, the standard of living of all these students who suffer from disadvantages of negative peace, such as lack of water and food. So I think that adopting STEM methodology, philosophy, and related with environmental education, education for STEM development is something very interesting for educators to explore. Thank you very much for your invitation. And for any question?
Thank you so much, madam, for sharing wonderful presentation through PPT. And I also like the way you said the inquiry that leads to find the solution of problem. That is very much needed. A scientific temper can only do that. And as a teacher, educators, we need to bring that scientific temperament in our student. We also would like to congratulate to you that today I found a new term that not only with the academic literacy, we also need to inculcate environmental literacy. A very good job done by Rihanna Lampu ma'am. Thank you so much from college and RFI. Thank you so much, madam.
Thank you, madam.
Now I would like to request Prudence Onaha, ma'am. Prudence Onaha, ma'am.
Yeah. It's nice to be with you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Over to you, madam.
Okay. I'm very happy to be at this esteemed event, and I would like to thank the organizers. And special thanks goes to Research Foundation of India for inviting me. So I'm joining this event from Nigeria, and I'm really excited to be among all of you. So today I'll be talking about innovation in multidisciplinary areas, and I'm going to cover 3 topics, which are what innovation is, how innovation comes about, and why innovation is so important. In today's world is already digital, and innovation is changing everything. The world is advancing. Personally, I work in the creative industry and in ICT, in information technology. So I see every day how innovation is taking over and making things to evolve. And by February this year, there is already this artificial intelligence, a robotic humanoid that is going to represent somebody in court, in a New York court. So even in the field of law, innovation is also taking over. And some people are speculating that at this rate of innovation, that many people's jobs are going to be that innovation in ICT, innovation and robotics is going to take over many people's jobs. So it's very important that we follow the trend. So what really is innovation? Innovation is to change something, to make something new, to develop something new. So if you look at the current standards and you change it, you have innovated it. So in the field of technology, innovation is to develop and to use new technologies. And how does this innovation come about? Innovation starts at the stage of creating it and ends at the stage when it is adopted. So it starts at the stage of creation and ends at the stage of adoption. So when you innovate something, when you create something new in your field, whatever your field is, or even in the technological field, it has to be adopted by people before that innovation would have been effective. So innovation starts at the point of creating and ends at the point of adoption. And innovation, technological innovation has taken over all areas in healthcare and in engineering. Use of robotics is very popular now all around the world. So in these fields, the people who are in these fields are very innovative, and they have used technology to upturn how things are done. Even medical data, you now use technology to do them. But how does this technological innovation comes about? It comes about following our basic need. Once a need is identified, it creates a gap, and that gap has to be filled. So people who create these new standards and new things, they fill in those gaps through innovation. They meet our need by technology, and so we say that they've innovated something new. So in the ICT industries, by the time you are using something, probably a new software or a new product, when the person who produces sees that there is a need that the customers want and this software is not fulfilling, they go and make it better. So that's what innovation is all about. And this innovation, now, why is it so important and why are we talking about it today? It's very important for four reasons. It's important because it is a driver of growth. Innovation drives growth. A society cannot grow if they are not changing their standards, their way of doing business, which is innovation in commerce, innovation in education, that's their way of learning, and then innovation in healthcare and in all the fields that we are concerned about in this conference. If society is not constantly innovating or changing how things are done in these industries, then we will not grow. So innovation is a driver of growth. And then innovation promotes stability. It promotes economic stability. The countries that are the most innovative, they are also the most economically stable. You get? So innovation promotes stability economically and otherwise. Then it also promotes ease and efficiency. Innovation makes it easier to do things. So in the field of technological innovation, for example, the more technologies you have, the easier your work is. And it's not only easier, it's also efficient. So many companies and businesses today, they provide their workers and their employees with enough technologies to make their work easier. In healthcare, robotics are being used there. They are used to make things easier. And even in commerce, if you buy something in India today, I can get it in Nigeria. How is that possible? It's through innovation and through technology. So it makes it easier, makes it more efficient. And then I think the most important use of innovation is that it is improving lives and giving us better standard of living. There are many people who have plugged into innovation to have a better life all around the world. So I feel that that's the most important use for innovation, and why it's important for us to consider it and for us to implement it in government, in our countries, and in our economy. So in conclusion, I would like to say that the world is advancing in all areas, in all fields. The world is advancing rapidly, and if you want to catch up, you have to take note of where the world is going to, what the trends are, what the technological innovations are, and then adopt them. So for you to create your own impact, you need to look at what technological innovations are happening and adopt them in your own business and in your own country. So that's about innovation in multidisciplinary areas. So if you are in the field of commerce, management, science, engineering, medical, education, ICT, humanities, law, and even agriculture, you should look at how innovation or technology is changing your field, and then key into it and see how you can make it better. For example, in my company, we do writing and publishing, but we are looking at how to use technology to make it better. For example, integrating software to help businesses to do their emails. So by the time you do this innovation, you see that your work is more efficient and it's easy. So I'm very pleased to be here today, and I'm really excited to be among you all esteemed guests. And I'd like to say thank you again to the organizers of this program, and especially to the Research Foundation of India for having me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, madam, for putting your views on innovation. And I like the way when you say that changing in innovation starts from changing in you. Thank you so much for having you, ma'am. Now I would like to request our natural guest, in Sonesh Bharadwaj ji.
Thank you.
Sonesh Bharadwaj ji.
Very good afternoon. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, madam, please go ahead.
Yes, give me a minute. Good afternoon to all of you. It's my immense pleasure to be here in this international conference on innovation in multidisciplinary areas in the field of commerce, management, science, engineering, medical education, information technology, humanities, law, and agriculture. I'm extremely gratified to be here on behalf of RFI for this lovely
Thank you,
invitation.
sister.
And I also extend my gratitude towards Umia Kanya Mahavidyalaya, Rao Indore, for conducting such a wonderful international conference. And apart from this, with all the eminent speakers and all the personalities across the globe. Today I'm here in front of you. I'm joining all of you from Bangalore, India. And I will be sharing my views when it comes to innovation in education. When we talk about innovation in education, it can lead to better overall outcomes. In the school environment, innovative classrooms are filled with students who are developing strong communication skills, and we need to understand why innovation is important in an education system. I believe embracing innovation in education promotes critical thinking, a sense of adventure, and an openness to adapt that will serve basically all our students in the classroom. It will provide them with all the necessary tools to tackle the challenges of their future workspace and give them the confidence and skills to continue to adapt, building engagement capacities amongst their peers. I also would love to focus on what are the three kinds of innovation which we need to understand in education. The three types of education innovation products are products or service innovation, innovation in technology, and tools or instrument. Finally, innovation in knowledge or methods. All these three different kinds of innovation needs to be explored, especially when we talk about education as a sector. Now, how do you bring innovation in education? That's a serious question we need to ask to all of us because we are dealing with the most important part of a human life and nothing less than education. Now, there are 10 innovative teaching strategies which we need to focus here for better student engagement. What are those? First one, you need to flip the classroom. Second one, you need to focus on personalized learning. Third one, you need to focus on project-based learning. Fourth one, inquiry-based learning. Fifth one, jigsaws. Sixth one would be ask your open-ended questions. Peer teaching. And finally, if I have to tell you, it's all about the masterpiece called blended learning. I would also love to share with all of you the 6 very common examples when it comes to innovation in higher education. When we talk about examples in innovation, first is competency-based learning. Next could be video streaming, flipped classroom, or learning trends, which is right now trending everywhere. Third is open curriculum. Fourth one, changing nature of faculty. Changing revenue sources for institution funding, digital textbooks, 3D printing, and use of data analytics. These are some of the very common examples of innovation when we talk about primarily in terms of education. Now, equally important is to understand what are the various challenges in innovation when we specifically talk about education as a sector. There are 12 barriers which I would like to highlight here. First one, busy parents. We all know today life has become very, very fast paced. And when a child has been put into an education framework, fortunately or unfortunately, both the parents are working very, very hard in order to sustain the committed, I would say, the daily requirement, whether it is related to education of the child or primarily their household needs. Funny part. Next is drive by professional development because today professional development has become the key role factor. No matter what, whichever area of your life you are competing, you need to be professionally well at the top of your game. Schools and community climate changes very beautifully. Right now, our international expert Rania Lumpu from Greece has explained and focused on climatic situations. Next one would be bad policies, meetings. And finally, I would like to focus all of you on overly rigid professional learning communities. Yes, I know it pains when we talk about the right fact, but this is the fact, and it's high time that we need to accept the reality and the practicality of our education system if we really want to bring innovation and right meaningful changes as far as education is concerned. Now, what are the various, I would say, innovative teaching methodology if I have to talk from a new normal? Because very recently, we all have seen a turmoil in everyone's life through the form of COVID 19. India, specifically, being a country where we never believed into the concept of online education because we believe we need to be more socially present, we need to have more focus on classroom trainings. But look at this, the change which India has adopted the most. Today, all blessings through this technological mind frame that we are able to sit any part of the corner and we are connected so well. We are physically not present in Indore, but very wonderfully I'm enjoying my entire international conference, listening all the brilliant brains across the globe. And for the last 4 hours, I'm sitting on this conference and enjoying every bit of it. So we need to understand change is the main important factor rather than just putting our mindset into a very stereotyped mind frame and orthodox principles. Second is project based learnings is something which we need to focus here. And we need to have more open ended question asking system when it comes to faculty and a kind of interaction between students, no matter what, you are at a school level, you are at a college level, or you are at a research level. Students needs to be more committed towards asking their questions in the form that it clears their mindset when they are appearing for more competitive stuff in their lives. Finally, I also want to focus here. The most important and primary agenda here is culturally inclusive teaching methodology needs to be inculcated, and this is the high requirement, I would say, into the teaching practices which we need to implement on. Today, I found because being a global motivational speaker and a certified life coach and a leadership coach, I keep interacting a lot of youngsters, corporate individuals, and it's been last wonderful 18 years in this journey. I met all sort of people, and I always try to understand where these people are suffering in their life or in their professional career. All I've understood is they have brilliant ideas, they have brilliant thought process, but until unless you are not ethically grounded, you are not morally grounded in terms of your cultural root values, I'm so sorry to say, no matter what, wherever you go and study, it's all going to go for a toss. So today it is highly required to imbibe this cultural inclusive teaching methodology, whether you are which level of education doesn't matter, because culture needs to be inseeded first. Now, my final touch point come here is how does this innovation impact the whole education system? Primarily, if I talk about all the top, you can say the educators across the globe, working with them, understanding them, the concept, all we have understood is creative thinkers requires to be more inseated when it comes to the concept of thought process and putting right system frame of services. These concepts we take for granted today because once upon the ideas drawn or developed on a whiteboard in a room full of people was called as a brainstorming. All of these ideas were born out of the notion that innovation is critical to the consumer mentality of the world. Now, recent education innovations and their impact, if I have to talk, like the consumer world, innovative practices in education are critical to new growth and changes as well. As very just 2 minutes back, I have mentioned that how India, being from a mindset of always into the principle of getting into a classroom training, has changed very beautifully into an online mechanism. And today, no matter what, which part of India you stay, you can very well and very comfortably go and attend any high-end meeting, conference from the ease of your home. That's nothing but a main principle change we all need to bring. When examining innovative practices in education, there is more to innovation than technological innovation. Innovative practices in education involve how we use technology. Today, very brilliantly, one of our main chief guests probably has highlighted that we all have modern gadgets in our hands today. We all use mobile phones, we have laptops, we have smart techniques to go and access each and every information. Google is there because we consider each and everything is available on Google. I consider that we are into the era of social media, but unfortunately, we are no more social, right? So it's high time to understand what we are implementing onto the ground level. Do we understand how to optimize and how to have the efficient use of technology which is being blessed to us? Moreover, innovation in education can be as simple as doing things in a new way, requiring different approaches, processes, products, or strategies. For educational leaders, we strive to constantly redesign the concept of education to meet the needs of diverse learners, paving the way for innovation that is relevant, personalized, responsive to the classrooms as well as to somebody who is not in the classroom frame. It can lead to better overall outcomes in the school environment. Innovative classrooms are filled with students who are developing stronger communication because today we all know we are into the digital age. And if you don't have a command on your communication skills, no matter what, wherever you go and apply for your betterment and career enhancement, you will hit as a barrier. You need to have a greater involvement and engagement between students, parents, and school faculties, as well as college and research faculty members. Because I believe it's a equal give and take kind of policy which we need to understand, and we need to become more open minded when it comes to interaction so that even parents or guardians can be looped up very properly into the education system to understand their real role when it comes to education as a responsibility. Overall, when we talk about multiple innovative trends, practices have emerged. The first is problem or project based learning, as I was talking, in which students take an identified problem and use those innovative practices, collaborate, and use the creative thinking processes. These all need to be implemented into multiple disciplines without fail. Professional learning communities needs to be creative. People need to be more creative when it comes to connecting with people onto the different areas of whether it is life, whether it is humanity, whether it is education, it is art, it is any technical or non-technical areas. Because you are not balanced human being until unless you don't understand all these areas in your life. Overall, just by having a formal education through your degrees and certificates will not help you furthermore. You need to be more inclined towards the practical approach of learning format. And that is nothing but you need to include social, spiritual, and more techno grounded spiritual being so that you can enhance and groom yourself in overall development. That is the key focus we all need to plan and make in our learning systems. Finally, if I have to tell you in terms of traumatic experiences, this is one highlighted point which I want to tell everyone. Today, a lot of youngsters, when I counsel them or talk to them, I found they are very depressed instead of having each and every best facility across them. When I talk to higher learners, higher educated, thesis scholars, when I just go and interact with even scientists as their core functional areas, I found all these particular professionals have their own traumatic experiences in their own life journey. How they have dealt it, that's very very important, because it's not like somebody who sounds to be happy doesn't have a depression or a stress level. We need to understand the language of social and emotional learning, which is the main key focus right now everyone needs to understand in their life. Because if your emotions are not under control, mentally you are not stable in taking your right decisions, you are going to suffer big time in your life. So traumatic experiences needs to be tackled very well, and especially at the student level or in any phase of life where you're learning or going through a rigorous change in your life, you need to tackle this area very very innovatively and stabilize your all the learnings. As society trends towards technological advancements, creating conditions in our schools, colleges that fosters and supports innovators and educational entrepreneurs is the key. I always say to youngsters, don't only focus on right now ready made job seeking scenarios. Try to be more innovative when it comes to entrepreneurship, right? Because you can only grow in your life when you are filled with a lot of innovation and you are not hesitating yourself to give a try your hands out. Student life or college life is the best way to start up your entrepreneurship journey and trying your hard hands out into something more meaningful, which can eventually put all of you towards the better future in terms of learning, developing, and becoming the more powerful citizen of your country. Finally, I would like to close my entire this talk with the technology as a key component of innovation, remembering that human element of our learners is absolutely vital as well. Although innovative tools are useful, the effectiveness of them depends on the learner and providing them with the appropriate exposure to innovative tools that can only help in their understanding of how to use properly these tools. When integrating various innovations in technology, we must consider the potential benefits and challenges while developing these innovations into successful teaching and learning practices is the whole and sole key criteria I believe we all need to go and master, whether we are educators, whether we are life coaches, whether we are from any stream of life, whatever we are doing, we need to understand these all areas are very, very vital and I would say very essential, and especially from the learning point of view. On that note, I end up my talk. Thank you so much once again to all of you. Love, light, and peace from Bangalore. That's all from my side. Thank you. Wishing you all a bright future and a very, very happy new year ahead. Thanks a lot.
Like the way you said, the technological upgradation in education, it is very much important, and we also believe that technological upgradation is a part of innovation, but it should not be the barrier of communication between in person. Thank you so much, madam, for giving us time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you once again to everyone. Thanks a lot.
Soumi Datta. Dr. Soumi Datta, Associate Professor, Institute of Engineering and Management, India.
Am I
Yes.
audible to you all?
Yes. Yes, madam, you are audible. Please go ahead.
Yes. I would like to share my screen and start my topic. So still now I have attended the from the very beginning the entire conference. So first of all, many congratulations to those to the entire organizing committee, those who have arranged such a innovative international conference, that is innovation is multidisciplinary area in the field of commerce, management, science, engineering, medical, education, information technology, humanities, law, and agriculture. So where we have learned a lot from our all previous speakers, that really how much technology and innovation help us in our regular life and how much we can gain from this. So basically technology always came and help us to make our life too easy, but at the same time we are having few of the threats whenever we are using that technology, because every time it is every sites everything has some of the advantage and disadvantages. So I just want to give enlight in my topic. I just want to enlighten few of the things where we should stop ourselves being exploited by few of the persons, those who are actually trying to exploit us. So as technologies are quite available to us, and when mobile technology and different sort of technologies where computer oriented technologies are too much available to us, so in that case definitely we should be aware that how the spams are getting out and how the fake news are coming to us, which one to release and which one not to release, and how the computer science and engineering is trying to basically focus and add some value in this area. So this is my few of the highlights that I am basically just completed my PhD in 2019, and previously I have completed my engineering in MTech and BTech also. In MTech I was first class first gold medalist. So these are few of the membership and award I have received. So for future collaborations, definitely we can collaborate and we can go ahead with some new innovative technology to sum up with. So here I'm just starting my talk as the innovation and technology we are talking about. Everything is taking place. So we are communicating to each other most of the time, many times not in front, and after, especially after the COVID scenario also, and during the COVID pandemic, basically we are too much getting dependent on technology on our small mobile phone, and we are trying to manage our entire network there. So whether it is a network with our relatives, sometimes it is our professional network, sometimes networking with our friends, and many more. So that's why all the sites and all the microblogging sites, all the social networking sites, these are quite flooded with all the information. So in that scenario we need to know that how to find out the exact information, and the challenges are basically that we are not only communicating, few of the spammers are also there, those who are also taking the advantage of this sort of technology, and they are trying to post few of the informations which are fake also. And not only this, there are many newses which are also coming in form of some media, and which are fakely generated and it is given to us. So you can see there a funny photo I have tried to include here. Here actually the entire story they are trying to prepare, and they are trying to deliver some of the other story to us unknowingly. Many times we try to propagate, we try to share many of the things in our social network, WhatsApp, and everywhere, and that's why many times few of the informations are getting trending. Maybe most of the informations are true, but there are a huge amount of information which are exactly not true. So definitely whenever we are trying to go through a news, particularly few of the things we need to know that from which source it is coming, who are the actually person who is posting that particular news, and what are the information, whether any timestamp is given there, any particular image is given there, whether the image is morphed or not. Many sort of things we need to know before we take a decision that whether it is a fake or non-fake. And many times a rumor also gets spread via some of the of some of us, and we try to visualize, being a spectator, many times we try to visualize an event in some of the other way, and we try to morph the reality, we try to reciprocate that one, we try to explain that one in our own way, and the entire interpretation gets some of the distorted, and the actual reality we are not getting. We are just getting some of the partial reality, and rest of the things are not actual. So how to get convenient information, that is also one of the target. Few of the categorization of the news, what we need to do, we need to check the authenticity and detection of that spam or spammers is highly required. So that's why everywhere wherever we are trying to use any of the information, this sort of rights also given to us in the internet, in the technology, that at the same time whenever innovating and delivering some of the good item or good product to the entire society, also they are giving us the facility that we can block a user, we can just mark a person as a spam, everything. Not only in case of any websites, if you just look into that true caller in a call as a caller caller app what we try to use, there also there are provisions that we can give our views also, and based on the views the owners will take some of the actions, because it is really very very challenging task at the, this is the drawback side of the technology. Many times we are getting trapped into, many transactions are given, many informations which are getting stealed. So these are the reasons why we need to be aware too much. Feature extraction is also needed. You can see one of the diagram I have tried to show you here. This is a scenario for 2009 and 2019 for a same place, and in case of the image what is given in the upper side, you can see that along with the image some logo is given, WWF. So basically if we are getting proper information, some watermarking should be there, some source should be mentioned there. But in the bottom section what the image you can see, you can see it is totally a combined or some morphed image or edited image. So actual information we are not getting from this one. So that's why the verification of information also need to necessary whenever we are trying to get different sort of information. And specifically if it is a cloud sourcing platform where anyone can post anything, then definitely we need to rectify this one. And before we forward a message, being a technical person or being a non-technical person, we should have few of the awareness. We should have that if it is a fake one, then we will not try to propagate this one. So that's why we should have this sort of also awareness we should generate among our society, where user will be at least this much awareness a person should have, that how to handle the technology. Many times technology gives us so many advantages, so also we need to think or think about the drawback. So as we know that OTP system also has come, that where a person will be authenticated by a particular OTP if I'm trying to make some transaction. So there are also so many cases when the OTP are being shared over phone from the users. So that's why in that case all the crimes are getting happen. So we need to know when a facility are given to us by some innovation, by some technology, how to handle this one. That should be your more main agenda. Being a social servicer, we should give this sort of services. So there are some of the summarized features which is given here, that which will help you out to find out all the fake information, that whether how the it is getting impacted. So there are some of the user based features, some of the news content based features, and some of the social tech context based features also, so which can help us to identify some of the features. Now all the features whenever we are trying to find it out, and some we need to be specific one, that using which of the technique we can easily detect this sort of fake newses, and we can come out with some outcomes. So I will show you few of the outcomes here, that this technology is called deep faking. And using the deep learning technique, which is a very common terms in today's life. So definitely you can see that original picture which is given in the left hand side, that has been deep fake, and using the deep fake technology we are trying to create another technology. So that is also use of a technology which has come into the market. So few are good one and few are the negative one. So if two videos are given, so then you can identify just looking at a single glance. Many times you need some reverse engineering technique, where you can retrieve from where you can retrieve and identify which is the original one, and how it has been, how it is going to help you out. So that's why at the propagation with the technology and in all the innovation we need to think of this. So these are the some morphed image also you can see where different sort of technology are used in some of the wrong way, and it has been deep faked and original information are not coming to us. So that's why especially for the old generation, those who are newly adapting the technology, and the younger generation, the youngest generation, those who are adapting the technology newly. So for these threats, especially for them, if your child is having a mobile, what type of content that your child is watching, so whether it how much he or she is learning from this, that also we need to monitor, we need to restrict. That's why we need to serve our technology in this way to each and everyone, that we can have some of the good outcome from this one. So these are the some of the few techniques of faking. You can see that from where we can easily identify using, there is a application using deepface lab. So basically this is one of the organization, they try to find it out, actually the reverse engineering method, and they try to find it out how two pictures, if it is given to you at a glance we cannot identify the difference, but using different sort of dimension recognition techniques and image segmentation, they try to give this sort of analysis and outcome. See how your changes are giving, and how somebody can make you fool if you don't be aware of this sort of things. So that's why this sort of things are coming, and I'm being more technical, that we need to classify that how, when the news is coming, how to identify. So this is a focus, and this is some of the techniques what you can also apply and come out some of the knowledge from this one. So these are the ideas what we can propose, that if you are having three of the newses, you first try to do the basic pre-processing and go for some of the identification of modeling of your particular data set, and then you can go for the supervising learning cases. So definitely few of the experiments me and my team has done previously, and these are the some of the approaches how we have tried to identify the properly the fake newses, and the classification results was quite good what we get from the previous one. And at the same time also, it is not relevant that only if we have the features, then if you are trying to identify, then this is very good. Otherwise many times if I'm telling you that from a particular topic, if there are so many data which is available in Twitter, Facebook, and in different sort of sites, so which are the information which is very subjective one, which is very truth, giving us a truth, particular truth, then definitely we need to do some of the experiments, and definitely we can identify few of the awards which are used. So definitely it is quite relevant to a particular topic, and few of the topics are also discussed there which is quite irrelevant. And not only this, there are so many spammers, those who used to post different sort of short URL. So nowadays short URL we try to use, actually we try to use it for our own benefit. It will, if you are trying to post some of your content where you are having some of the short limitation of your words, it will help you out. But if from the short URL, it is very difficult to identify that whether it is a fake one or not fake one. Unknowingly, if it is a fake one, and if it is having some of the cyber security different techniques are there, so that from where we can steal your information, if somebody is clicking, then it will try to transmit many of your information from your mobile or from your system to the spammers. So many times it are this sort of awareness also, many times we have seen that this sort of approach, good approaches are taken from the government even, that don't share your OTP, don't click on unknown link, that otherwise you can be in a trap. So that's why this sort of experiment also you can do, and you can find it out and take a decision what is finally. So these are the few of the features what we try to identify, and we do some of the experiments that which feature finally can help you out, that we have to take care of this feature, that if these features are present and how they are actually behaving on your data set. Based on this you can take a decision that whether a particular news is fake or not. So here I will not much talk much more technical thing. One few of the things, I just before I conclude my topic, I just want to say that when we are talking about innovation and technology, so many researches are going on, and definitely We are trying our level best, being an academician, those who are scientists, every one of us are trying to give our effort to give some good outcome. So that's why every time, being a general user, being a non-technical user, so every time we will try to give provide services to that person, and that person should have this much information what to do and what not to do. At the progression with the technology also, few of the scams are coming out. So whenever we try to install any of the application, basically, so we know that at the time of installing an application, we have no particular idea basically that how we are trying to give which are the permission which are giving to a particular user. Many times we have seen that at the time of installation of any particular apps, we are giving the permission of any another some of the application which is at all not required. Somebody is trying to capture your access your gallery, somebody is trying to access your location without giving this sort of permission also, that particular app may work. So please be conscious, be careful whenever you are adapting a technology, because so many things all around. Some of the new things every day is coming. When you are adapting a new technology, please be aware that what am I doing and what is the meaning of that particular one. So unnecessarily, please don't give so much of information in the social media. And definitely when you are propagating, being a responsible citizen of any country, so definitely we will try to forward a message, we will try to propagate a message, and we will take the responsibility of posting some of the data which is very very relevant to the society. So because with the innovation, with the technology, definitely we are coming very, we have already across so many thousands of years, so we are having so many things in our hand. But we need to know, otherwise this technology can work in a reverse direction, and it can take your place, it can directly ruin us in all the way. Technology has both the powers, so it is totally depend on us how we will be trying to use that one. So thank you, and a very happy new year, wishing happy new year to all of you. Thank you, Dr. Ajay Jain, to inviting me in this conference, and I'm really, really very happy to associating with you all. And so many good speakers are there. I'm just going through each and every one speech. It is really marvelous. Thank you. I will be happy to share with my experience in future also to getting associated with you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much giving your precious time for this.
और उसमें भी आप लोगों का सहयोग अपेक्षित है। यहाँ के कर्मचारियों ने 2 दिन खूब मेहनत की, आप लोग भी लगभग 1 सप्ताह पहले से लगे थे, और उसके बाद में आगे भी आप लोगों को 1 सप्ताह तक, जब तक सबके रिज़ल्ट नहीं देना है, सबके पेपर पढ़ के फाइनल नहीं करना है, तब तक सहयोग आपको देना ही होगा। तो इस सब अतुलनीय कार्य जो अपने समाज के लिए, अपने देश के लिए आप लोग कर रहे हैं, इसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
दूसरा टेक्निकल सेशन भी 2 अलग अलग वेन्यूज़ पे किया जा रहा है। एक जहाँ पर ऑफलाइन प्रेजेंटेशन है, और यहाँ पे जहाँ आप उपस्थित है ये एक ऑनलाइन प्रेजेंटेशन है। इसमें भी कुछ प्रस्तुत करता है, और इस प्रोग्राम के सेशन चेयर के रूप में मैं औपचारिक रूप से पुनः स्वागत करती हूँ डॉक्टर श्याम सुंदर जी पलोट साहब का। आप प्राचार्य हैं संस्कार कॉलेज ऑफ प्रोफेशनल स्टडीज़। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर हैविंग यू सर। इसके साथ ही सेशन चेयर, को सेशन चेयर के रूप में हमारे बीच उपस्थित हैं डॉक्टर श्वेता हार्डिया मैडम। थैंक यू सो मच मैडम फॉर हैविंग यू हियर। सो आई वुड लाइक टू रिक्वेस्ट असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर लवीना उमाले मैडम, सो प्लीज़ come and take over the charge for the next session. Thank you so much.
Commencing the program ahead, I am inviting Ms. Shweta Rani for online presentation for technical session 2. Rani, if available, please be online.
Thank you. Thank you. So, my topic is a paradigm shift in education policy for academic growth with special reference to hospitality education. Okay, and the paper is prepared by me, I'm the research scholar of School of Humanities, Management and Social Science of New York University, and my supervisor is Dr. Sweta Rani, who is the associate professor of School of Humanities, Management and Social Science of the same university. Okay, so as people play the most important role in shaping the status of the country, education is responsible for shaping a person. Therefore, education is the backbone of the country. Quality and equal access of education is a fundamental tool for achieving economic growth, equality, justice, development in science and technology, and also preserving heritage. So, as change is the only constant, and our country, India, is a developing country and facing lots of changes in terms of economy, culture, technology, and many more things.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible and your screen is also shared. Please continue.
Let me introduce myself. I am Reshmi Panikya, research scholar at the University of Kerala. The title of my presentation is Behavioral Biases and Investment Decision Making, Learn to Make Right Choices. You all know that during the COVID-19 pandemic, global markets has experienced significant losses. After seeing the daily decline in the value of their investment, many investors sold their shares to avoid further losses. But the markets recovered very quickly that the investors who sold their shares made huge permanent irreversible losses. The reason for investor reaction here is behavioral biases. While confronted with in any decision-making situation, normal people don't go for analyzing each and every related aspect and search for every required information. Rather, they just employ simple heuristics for decision making. These heuristics are generally useful for fast decision making, but can often lead to errors known as biases. Behavioral biases are irrational beliefs or behaviors that can unconsciously influence our decision making process. Our decisions can easily be affected by these biases. Thus, it is important for investors to be aware of these biases and to consider them when making investment decisions. Research objectives. The purpose of this presentation is to discuss widely acknowledged behavioral biases, to identify their implication, and to recommend strategies to mitigate the impact of behavioral biases in financial decision making. The talk will be covering the following 6 behavioral biases: overconfidence, representativeness, availability, self attribution, herding, and loss aversion. First one, overconfidence bias. Overconfidence bias is a tendency of people to overestimate their abilities. It causes traders to trade excessively in the market and can cause huge losses. We can avoid this by being realistic about the market and abilities as a trader. And we should resist the temptation to believe that our expertise and judgments are superior to others in the field. Representativeness is a judgmental heuristics using which individuals make predictions about investments based on similarity of objects or events. For example, investors assume that by seeing a past 5-year return of a particular stock, they will think that the stock will continue to generate the return over the next 5 years, next future also. This can be overcome by making decisions which are backed by data rather than looking for similarity or past history. Availability bias. Here, people make decisions based on the most recent information available to them. For example, whenever a fund starts giving good returns, investors put their money into that fund without looking at its performance or the reason for its growth. To avoid this, we need to analyze whether the investment is right fit for us. Self-attribution bias. It is the tendency of people to attribute their success to their own actions and the failure to external factors like bad luck or influence by others. For example, when mutual funds are giving declining returns, investors always blame their CEOs for the mismanaging of those funds. To avoid self-attribution, we should have
an idea of our own investment abilities. We should learn from our weakness and we should try to overcome them. Herding bias. Here we are doing something just because others are doing, like we are imitating our friends or family. We should not take decisions based on mere advertisements or influenced by others. We should make investment decisions which are based on our own financial goals and objectives. Loss aversion. It is the tendency to focus on avoiding losses more than making gains. For example, when the market starts falling, mutual fund investors start redeeming the units as they don't want to make further losses. To avoid this, we should not exit from our investment for temporary losses or temporary crashes that are happening in the market. Concluding, biases are the main cause of poor decision making, and it can cause huge destruction to our wealth. Therefore, we should understand various behavioral biases and should learn how to deal with them to make a wise investment decision. Thank you.
Mr. Shyam Sundar Palot, sir, and Dr. Shweta Hadia, ma'am, please be on a stage.
We are really grateful to RFI and Umia Kanya Mahavidyalaya for organizing such a nice international conference. And actually, this international conference multiplies the scope of research, which we have studied in all these online presentations. We have seen in online presentations that so many researches and so many different field areas have been shown up. We were having papers from hospitality education, from chemistry, from geological studies, in agricultural, different machine learning fields. We were having paper from educational sector also, then biomedical sciences like bioaccumulation of heavy metals, then domination graphs and behavioral studies while making investment. So really a big round of applause for all the participants who have shown their research papers in this conference. And we are really thankful for RFI for organizing such a nice international conference. Mainly in the international conference, we can see that different field area, different research areas were made available for the students. There are many students which are pursuing their masters, which are pursuing their bachelors, and therefore this is a ground view. This is a basic view for those students who want to pretend their research, their future research in different areas. And I just want to say that research doesn't mean that you have to get a particular area of research or you have to see a particular area. All the things which are involved in your daily life, with your life skills, all things involve research. So actually, research you can take idea from any of the aspect of your general life, like we have seen in these research papers. And making towards the best oral presentation in the online platform here. We were having many papers, but the best paper, we have took different aspects of your presentations, like your studies, your results, your methodology, and your way of presentation. So in all of these, we are having the best oral presentation. Miss Cinemal Joseph, she has presented the work on cognitive flexibility theory from APJ Kalam University. So we can have a big round of applause for Cinemal Joseph. Thank you so much.
जितने भी पेपर प्रेजेंटेशन हुए हैं बहुत ही स्तरीय और उम्दा थे, और उनमें मैडम और हमने मिलकर जिन जिन लोगों को यहाँ मार्किंग किया, बेशक ये जो सर्वोत्कृष्ट पेपर जिनका रहा वो दूसरे पेपर की तुलना में बहुत अच्छा था, उत्कृष्ट था, और बाकी पेपर भी बहुत अच्छे थे। कुछ लोगों ने ठीक से जुड़ नहीं पाए, ऐसी स्थितियां भी हुई, लेकिन कुल जमा ये है कि एक सार्थक ऑनलाइन जो प्रेजेंटेशन हुआ उसके लिए आरएफआई और ये उमिया कन्या महाविद्यालय निश्चित तौर पर बधाई का पात्र है।